That's the thing. People love to tell you what to do. I hate to be told what to do, but let's be honest, there's some people you need to tell them what to do because they do things wrong. There's this girl that recently had a 9-pound hairball removed from her stomach in a place called Kyrgyzstan. I don't know where that is, but I assume it's not someplace we want to go. Maybe we do. I don't know. Not a place I want to go. 9-pound hairball removed from her stomach. And let's be honest, it probably didn't really weigh 9 pounds. It's just another example of the liberal media sensationalizing a story to scare us all into becoming vegans. Once you dry that son of a bitch out, and just squeeze all the stomach bile out, that thing weighed 7.5 pounds tops. She got a 9-pound hairball in her stomach, not because she was doing anything right. It's because she was eating hair. She was eating her own hair, and this is the really disgusting part. She was eating hair off the carpet in her house. I know, I didn't know they had carpet in Kyrgyzstan either. But they do, and she was eating the hair off of it. That's disgusting. I feel really bad for her boyfriend, because they're, trying to get intimate, and he's like, you eat hair from carpet, but you make me finish in towel for hands? She wouldn't swallow. It's cum. But she'll eat hair off the carpet. Don't be like her. I can tell you're not. Now, who I feel really terrible for in this entire situation, because they saved her life. And there's a doctor that had to operate on her. And while he was operating on her, he had to have some sort of moral crisis, because he's operating. He's like, yes, I can save her life. But should I save her life? Is it worth having that girl in the world? Is she going to contribute to our planet if she ate 9 pounds of hair? The only reason I can think of that you save a girl's life that ate 9 pounds of hair is so that all her friends and family don't have to go to that funeral and pretend like it's sad. I'm going to leave a little more from that, because I know it's dark, but that's an awkward fucking funeral. You're sitting there at the casket. Oh, look at her. She looks just like herself, except her stomach's not distended because they removed the 9-pound hairball. No, she didn't have a 9-pound hairball grow in her stomach. That would be a tragic disease, and this would be a very sad situation. She ate 9 pounds of hair, which is ridiculous because if I get one single hair in my mouth, I can't eat for 3 days. She ate 9 pounds of it. You ever weighed a hair? It weighs nothing. I had to take a day off of work and come here to this funeral because she ate 9 pounds of nothing. At least she died doing what she loved. Went there one time and I couldn't even find a parking spot in a Home Depot parking lot. Those are the biggest parking lots on the entire planet. I'm driving around forever. I can't find one. I finally get one. This old lady starts yelling at me. She's like, hey, I was going to park there. Didn't you see my turn signal? I was like, yeah, I knew you had it on, but I didn't know if you knew you had it on. She got all mad. She's like, you ragamuffin, I ought to box your ears. I don't know what that means. So I coughed on her. She's dead. Wasn't even COVID. She just turned to dust. She was that old. Also, full disclosure, I was on mushrooms at the time, so I don't know what really happened. Maybe that happened. Maybe I was just home watching Avengers. What about you right here? What would your superpower be? Super fast. She's like, actually. Because that's awesome. You guys did it. You're here. We appreciate it. You are fucking up that pizza right now. Appreciate that. Yeah, she's not. Don't be shy about it. I'm turned on. I think that's great. I like her with full mouth. Now, I'm not a very religious guy anymore, not religious at all. And then I tell people that, and they'll be like, yeah, me either. I'm an atheist. I believe in science. And here's the thing. I don't like science either. I believe in it. It's too mean. Science ruins my day all the time. Like, I would love to jump on a trampoline, but science is like, hold your horses, fatso. We'll take you down. We're not bringing you back up. Science is so mean. Science does not care about whether you believe in it. And science will just take away things that you thought were a thing. Like, remember when Pluto used to be a planet? And then science is like, no. It's a dwarf planet. I'm like, well, excuse me, science. It still has the word planet in it. It's like, dwarf planet, not a planet. Take it off the list. Ooh, keep that scientist away from people. Person. Sorry, buddy. I know you guys are like, oh, I don't want to laugh at that. There might be a Pluto in here somewhere. Yeah. Science is mean when you're fat. Science is so mean when you're fat. Like, I have stretch marks on my body. That's science. Just happened into my body. But I don't even like to think of them as stretch marks. I like to pretend that they're tattoos of flames. It's all over. They're on my legs, everywhere. If I take my shirt off in public, people are like, hey, man, who did your tats? I'm like, trans fats. They started as fats, but now they identify as stretch marks. That's right. And they can go into any bathroom they want. I have one friend, like, my diet is terrible. That's why I'm fat. I have one friend, his diet also terrible, but he's really skinny because he's got Crohn's disease. And I was like, oh, man, how do I get that? He's like, Bill, you can't catch it. Either you have it or you don't. I'm like, yeah, right. Give me some of your blood. And he's like, Bill, it's not a good disease. I poop my pants all the time. I'm like, yeah, so do I. At least you're skinny. Take it. Have shameful moments when you're a fat guy? Like, I went to Cedar Point one time. You already know this story. You know where the story's going. Like, you know. I get on the top drill dragster and I sit down and I try to pull the seatbelt across and it wouldn't reach the buckle. And the girl's like, sir, if you can't buckle your seatbelt, you can't ride the ride. I'm like, just let me ride the ride. And she's like, sir, it's dangerous. You could get hurt. You could even die. I'm like, listen. I'd rather be remembered as the person that was killed on the roller coaster than as the person that was too fat to ride it. Yeah. Obviously, I didn't ride it. I'm alive. But one of the employees tried to make me feel better. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. LeBron James was here last week, and he didn't fit either. And I was like, do you think maybe it was for a different reason? Do you think maybe LeBron might have been too tall and not trying to stuff his love handles into different parts of his body? And she's like, I'm just trying to make you feel better. I'm like, well, it didn't work. I'm going to go eat your food now. Like, even when the internet was new, you still had to earn it because you had to be a little bit clever because you didn't have an iPad or a laptop in your room. The computer was in your living room, and you had to be a little tricky. Like, I had 3 brothers, 1 sister, and my parents in my house, and our computer was in the living room, and I knew that there was porn in there because people at church told me. People at church were like, oh, there's porn on the computer, don't go on that. I'm like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do now. They told me all the things that I wasn't supposed to do. Like, we'd have these, like, church assemblies, and they'd be like, oh, you need to not do this. They told us about, like, heavy petting. They had the worst names for everything, but once I figured out what it was, they're like, ooh, don't do passionate kissing, because that leads to heavy petting, and then that could lead to digital penetration. And I'm like, why would a girl want a bunch of ones and zeros in her pussy? Yeah, that's a binary fingering joke. That's getting robo-blasted. So I learned about porn on the internet, and we had dial-up, so it was risky, because I never knew. So one day I was like, all right, I'm going to stay home from church. I pretended to be sick so I could stay home and look for naked pictures of wrestling girls. Like, that was what I was into. I was into, like, the WWF divas. It was still the WWF at the time. I don't like that it's the WWE. I feel like it's shitty that the WWE lost the title to the World Wildlife Federation. Like, I feel like a panda should have fought Steve Austin. And whoever won gets to be the WWF. But they left it up to lawyers, and that's boring. So I'm downloading all these, like, wrestling pictures of, like, Sable and all those girls. And my parents are at church. I'm having a nice time. And I'm saving them with the intention to print them off. But I realized something, that I don't know where pictures get saved on a computer. So I just keep saving all these boobs. And then I start to panic because I'm like, where do these go? So I have to do research. I learned how to use computers because of pornography. Like, I got better at typing. I learned all about hard drives and how to get everything off them. So I do some research. I find out where pictures get downloaded, and it's a folder, obviously, called downloads. And I open it up, and I realize in a house with 3 brothers and a dad, I'm not the only person to download the pictures. I was just the first one to find them. So now I have all the titties, and I'm very excited about it, so I just start